The floor is yours, Brandon.
Awesome. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Brandon again with Campbell Fitness. I haven't said Campbell Fitness in a long time. I don't really try to promote my channel, but I'm here with my boy, Omar Esoff. Not Isoff or anything like that.
Yeah.
Esoff.
Or Surfland.
Phonetics. Phonetics are our friend. He's rocking the
Yes.
Pokemon shirt. So Wild Gain has appeared. I can tell just from the top. A little bit stalkerish of me to know what shirt you are just based off of the top 25%, but that's all right.
Brandon, well, I feel extra special that you're featuring me in your bedroom with your bed, with the sheets uncovered. It just looks ready to go, man. This is
Yeah.
intimate, interactive. What do we got? We got to put on just some Barry Manilow and complete this setting right here.
Let's be honest. I mean, people see this setting all the time. So you're like right now, probably the 91,356th man to see my bedroom.
Yeah.
So you're top 100,000 for sure.
We're going to talk about everything. We're basically two YouTubers that have been around for quite some time, both over almost approaching 4 years, right, on YouTube.
Yep.
Just reminiscing past, present, future, some trends we see, overall advice, getting like powerlifting if it fits your macros, a lot of different things. For the two people that are currently watching this video that actually don't know who you are, Brandon, introduce yourself.
So anyone who's aesthetic or very strong probably doesn't know my channel, which is fine. I cater to a lot of younger boys, which
Right. You and MJ.
that's not a good start. That's not a good start to the video in my bedroom talking about men and then younger boys.
Don't worry about it, Brandon. Good.
Blew it.
He's probably not going to say it. He has an awesome channel, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been making videos on YouTube for 4 years, which is a long time in YouTube land, especially when it comes to fitness-oriented channels. I initially started out doing videos strictly on supplement reviews for bodybuilding.com, doing video logs as a way for me to get free supplements because that's why I wanted to start videos. I wanted free stuff. Hey, and that's how it started. And then people started asking other questions. They started asking me, all right, well, what do you do for training? What do you do for your diet? So I started filming these things, and as YouTube became more and more of a viable platform, and I became more ingrained and close with my customers, with my friends, with my subscribers.
Whoa. Did you just admit to doing G for P? I'm not sure what just happened there, Brandon.
Well, in my 4 years ago when I had more hair.
Oh no.
When I was a young chicken.
No, but Brandon, I gotta state something because we're reminiscing here. Sit down once again if you're watching the video. It's gonna be longer. Grab a brew. You know, if you're in your bedroom, just make yourself at home, right, or on the toilet. Shout out to all the toilet viewers. Brandon, what were you known? You're talking about 4 years ago. What were you first known for on YouTube?
So
Muscle Group, come on. You used to always break it down.
My forte on YouTube, I think I had the same outfit every single time.
No, you're delts, man. You're delts.
But as part of that, because I always wore basketball jerseys, which were schmediums, more than likely. So retro jerseys. So first of all, the older they are, the smaller they are. Yeah. Backwards hats, as I still reminisce about this, but everyone will always say, oh, you have big traps and big delts. And honestly, good lighting and tight shirts, key to a lot of victories, I'll say.
Tell me right now, weight and height and approximate body fat. Come on.
Sure.
That's a lie. He is massive.
So right now, I am 6'4"-ish, about 230 pounds right now, even though it doesn't look like it, because again, being taller, it's tough to tell. And I'm 33 years old.
There you go. There's a Match.com profile. Enter
That's right.
that one, man. No, Brandon, you know it's interesting. I'll just say quickly from meeting a lot of different YouTubers. I have to say unequivocally that taller YouTubers will underestimate their height or basically be like, I'm 6'3", and they're actually 6'4", whereas all the shorter YouTubers, they're like, I'm 5'10", dude, I'm 5'11", and I encounter them, I'm like, dude, you're like 5'6", 5'7", or whatever. So it's just funny when you're like, oh, I'm 6'4", well, I'm really 6'3", I mean, you're probably 6'4".
Yeah, well, it's a struggle too, because I mean, training by myself, people don't get an understanding of perspective until they see someone else train with you. Just like when you did the video with Elliot,
right?
Everyone
you rep that shit out cold.
My Northern Canadian.
Whoa, Brandon, as a white American, you should already know.
Yeah, originality, not even once. 0 out of 10.
By both of us.
But it's the same thing. People see videos, and I think the same thing is true on TV. Like, you see people on this platform, and you just have certain expectations, but then you see them in person, and you're like, eh.
Yeah. When you guys did the collab, where it's like the East Coast Avengers Unite, like I thought Max was like 6 foot even or something, and he's like 5'10".
Yeah, I think he's like 5'10".
Yeah.
But he's just as skinny as he looks on video, so that's all right.
You got any advice for him in order to, gain some weight?
Well, the funny thing is he showed up, and I don't know if they got it on camera or not, but I had literally a 10-pound bag of mass gainer I gave him.
You were serious about the mask. It wasn't a joke. You're like, here you go.
No, it was like for real. I was like, you need to eat. I'm seriously worried about your health.
Yeah.
But I think he left it at Nick Wright's house, which is funny because it's like giving money to the rich.
Team.
If you know what I'm saying, that's right.
Well, I know Nick. Someone mentions to Nick, he's in the video. He's gonna watch this part right here. He just heard what you said, Brandon. He don't appreciate that. Man, I want to. It's just colostrum. I want to talk about. Man,
You can't say that. You'll get banned on certain channels for saying that.
I would get banned. Am I gonna get banned on my own channel?
You could.
So I want to talk to you, man, about the past, present, future of YouTube, what we've seen, because here's something a lot of the new viewers, subscribers that recently, maybe 2012, 13, whatever, don't realize. YouTube used to be completely different.
Right.
The type of people that were producing content, what content was even being said. You know, I remember 2009 when I first made a video. I'm like, yo, that intra-workout, you know, post-workout, you need that shake.
Guilty
right?
too, yeah.
I'm a former bro. So, Brandon, what do you see, or what have been the biggest changes between when we first started and now? Because guys don't realize, you know, if it fits your macros, it was not there. This whole, you know, shift towards strength or powerlifting, it was not there. You had a lot of bros talking about curls, talking about looking good on the beach, eating chicken, broccoli, and rice.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing I've seen as far as a change goes, just like you kind of alluded to, is accountability, and not even just in advice that you give. So, you know, I was the same way. I would show my supplement store pickups, and it would be BCAAs, which interesting people still take, but depending on the situation, I might see a reason for people who want to take them. I personally am not in that camp. But then I'd have my glutamine, I'd have my intra-workout, my post-workout, my pre-workout.
Yeah.
Like I would spend like $200 a month on this stuff, and I would show it like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And also most of it, as I talked about before, doing it for bodybuilding.com and some of these video logs to get free supplements, like I wanted to give off a good opinion of them, regardless if I thought they actually worked or if I knew they actually worked. In most cases, I didn't even look into it. I didn't do any kind of research. I said, hey, it says it on the label. Seems legit. They wouldn't put it on the label if it didn't do that. And then with that too, also just holding people accountable for lifting. So quarter squatter, checking in, quarter pull-ups, checking in.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't really, in my mind, I thought I was doing everything correctly, but it wasn't until I started filming myself and seeing not only myself, but also, I don't know if you've noticed on YouTube, but people are quick to point out little flaws in your lifting.
Man, your left ankle is 2% turned out compared to your right ankle. Fix that.
Is that parallel? Is that parallel? Oh, it's nice. Is that parallel? Would that count?
We need another angle of this to make sure this is parallel right here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me set up 5 cameras to film myself in the gym for you.
It's like, I'm sorry, like, Brandon, have you not done a meet? It's like, were you red lighted for depth?
Yeah.
No, you were not. Okay, his depth is fine. Brandon's depth is fine.
And it's not like constructive criticism. It's not like, oh, you know, you should work on this. This could help you. This is where I came from. It's, bro, do you even lift?
Oh, yeah.
Let me upload some more Call of Duty gameplay videos on my channel.
Nick did say it right, though, where he said that essentially when it comes down to strength, they're a little bit more lenient. Like, they might say harsh stuff. When it comes to bodybuilding, if you want to talk bodybuilding and make videos, you're never good enough.
No, gyno, not natty. Or he has a small wiener, not natty. Not that he's only 4% body fat and doesn't have anything on there. Probably is only taking in like 50 grams of fat and probably has no libido.
Yeah.
Probably a little.
Not being able to stay rock hard in a funky place, we'll just say that. People essentially want you to look not natty, but they want you to be natty.
Yeah.
It's a crazy paradigm.
I still think there's a fine line with that. So I think it not only depends what is said, but also who says it. Because you have some channels that have very large followings that might not always put out factual information, but because they have just because they have a very strong following, they like it regardless. And they'll defend that person to the death. Unless it's completely outrageous, and you'll get some BS calls on it. I'm trying to dance around this because there's
No, it's like, I can't keep a straight face, man. I have noticed, once again, I won't name names, but there's been a couple larger channels that have had, you know, big things happen to them, like huge allegations, like crazy shit, right? And yet, I would say once you reach a certain point on YouTube, your credit, you can always bounce back. It seems like even like whatever, it might come out that you did G4P, that you had an alias, that like a whole bunch of things, Brandon. Keep a straight face here, man. And you'll be all right.
Getting excited, sorry. You're lucky the camera cuts off right about here because I'm pushing just below. But kind of getting back to your question, I think one of the big changes is, at least when I first started, I would say all of my videos tried to be educational, not saying they were factual, but they tried to be. So talking about supplements, talking about workouts, diets, things of that nature. And I think that's how a lot of people's channels started. But now it seems to be the trend is a lot of people are more towards like the vlogs. People want to see everything else because there's only so many videos on creatine you can watch. There's
Brandon, you're completely right. Sorry, go ahead.
no, so I'm just gonna say there's not a lot of change. And actually, like I've gotten a lot away from that, not only because I think it's overkill. I mean, I have 500 some videos and I've made a ton about creatine. There's nothing else I can say unless I just want to rehash the same stuff.
Should I take it while cutting, bro?
I need a nice orange shirt. I've seen nice orange creatine shirts out there. Rascal Apparel, plug. But with that too, it's not only that, but from my perspective, I have, I would say, a better knowledge than some, but there's better people out there who are better articulated and can put it together better and can not only hold up more of a conversation. That I'll leave that to them. There's people that are better suited at that. That's one of the reasons I try to feature other people on my channel, just because there's a wealth of information out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that people hear it from different sources and kind of can process it themselves a little bit.
I'm gonna be real with you now that we've been filming for a bit. Can I just real talk you for a second?
Reel me, baby.
I was gonna have another guest instead of you today. Just talking about bringing content. It was gonna be Freely. I just find Freely the banana girl. She brings, you know, just such a unique twist on the YouTube fitness world. You don't need to eat protein, bro. 30 bananas a day. And N equals 1 for her. It clearly works.
Is she New Zealand? From New Zealand? Australian? Is that her?
Even though you feel, Brandon, like I'm Canadian and I have an accent, to me it just sounds like something else. Like North American sounds one way, and then there's kind of like UK or New Zealand. Who would you pick? Who were some key figures on YouTube that kind of changed the game? Because I got two, and it's funny that I'm naming these two in particular when I do, because they're complete opposites, but I feel two really changed the game early on. From you seeing this, you know, 4 years now,
Sure.
You're watching actually more than 4 years, but you're making content for almost 4 years. Who would you name?
Sure. So first of all, I would say Ian McCarthy. Even though
I was gonna say that for sure. Go ahead.
you got a little excited with that mic there. Just getting real. I don't pay attention so much to his stuff anymore. Like I don't even know if he puts out a ton of content, but I think there is a big shift in everybody's videos when he started calling out some of the bigger channels, and I think that had a snowball effect because then I started to make sure my information was better, which in turn maybe people who watch me tried to do something similar. But I think he had a tremendous impact in that aspect. You know, you don't necessarily have to be this big, huge, juiced out looking person to give out good information. I pick and choose a lot of stuff from a lot of different channels that I watch that I like. Like I couldn't tell you who the first person to start doing vlogs was necessarily, or the first person who started doing like grocery pickups.
Right.
I think Chris Jones takes credit for that, and I love me some Chris Jones, although people might think so differently after the last couple of videos I did on meal plans.
You know who it is.
But like on my old channel, which is no longer available, unfortunately, this video was
I downloaded all of it though, Brandon.
one of my first videos was literally me on my little shitty cell phone camera, which wasn't HD at the time. I bought like 6 things at the grocery store, and I just filmed it. And I said, I'm gonna make breakfast out of this, and it was like a 2-minute video. It was a piece of shit. It had like 500,000 views like several years ago.
So you started this gangster shit is what you're trying to say.
I'm not saying.
I'm just saying. You beat the judge.
But
Views.
there's no proof. But
I have the proof, as I said. I
some of
downloaded
these
all
things.
I 100% agree. There was a noticeable shift. End of 2011 it was when Ian McCarthy essentially laid down the science. You're still my favorite Pop-Tart, McPop-Tart, Ian McPop-Tart. That he brought accountability, what you're saying, to YouTube. You couldn't then just make claims. There's a lot of people, you know, in the supplement industry that were endorsed or whatever. They were saying crazy shit, and Ian was the person who eloquently, factually called out everyone. Ian was, I think he was instrumental. The second person or group of guys I just wanted to list that were influential for sure for entire YouTube as far as I'm concerned, I have to name the Hodge twins. Reason being, they helped popularize, I feel, YouTube fitness in general. I remember, man, pre-Hodge twins, there's probably, you know, there's a couple channels that had like 8,000, 10,000, maybe if that. They made it seem possible for everyone else to start making videos. The amount of views they got, the amount of subscribers they had, they made it seem more feasible as a platform. I really feel they were responsible for helping to popularize YouTube fitness. One of the key instrumental things, because we had our Scooby, right? Scooby 1961.
That's right.
I honestly can't name another channel that was big prior to the Hodge twins.
Well,
at that time.
it's funny you mentioned Scooby because he's probably one of the first channels I started. I want to say watching, but the thing is, I didn't actually watch his videos only because kind of creepy. Watching like a 50-year-old man with his shirt off,
Shirt off. Yeah.
just doing skateboard squats or these curls, like what looked like the tropical jungle at the time, which is like his backyard. You had like
George of the Jungle,
waterfalls.
bro. Yo, are you sorry? Are you saying skateboard squats don't work, Brandon? What are you saying here?
If it tastes good, spit it out. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Ugh.
But
Whoa.
but he had a lot of good information, and he was one of the first big channels out there. He didn't charge anything. He had his free sites and stuff like that.
Free photo submission, bro. Yes.
But at the same time, it was tough for me to actually view because from an outside source, if I'm viewing it like on my computer or if I was doing it at work on my downtime, someone walked by and they see me looking at a guy flexing or Scooby with his half naked body and his Gilligan hat on.
Yeah.
It's not a very easy thing to explain at the time.
That's a pimp look, man. The Gilligan hat.
It's ballsy. He's alpha. It's interesting to see people's progression also with their channels themselves because I think through this, it's through some of these people that we've talked about that influence others, you can see a marked progression in people's quality of video they put out and how they do things. Like the Hodge twins, for example, the reason I like them, first of all, they're really funny.
Yeah.
They're easy to watch. They're entertaining, but also like they don't mind going back and changing their opinion. Like they have certain things they say, but then later on they're like, you know what, we did this and that was stupid, so this is what we're doing instead. Their whole catchphrase, do whatever you want to do. That's really great because when it comes down to it, I mean, I was at the point where I was making a lot of videos saying like, this is most optimal, this is most effective.
Right.
But if you look at how optimal something is or effective, if there's not much difference, why not do with something that you're happier doing? And that's kind of like their approach that I really like.
What do you see recently? What are some of the current trends? I think powerlifting is for sure a trend right now where it's strength being important for natural lifters.
Right.
What do you see recently that's developed and what do you see in the future?
So I think that's definitely true because like when I first started making videos, it was all about bodybuilding, all about aesthetics, and aesthetics is still a huge role. That's still a driving factor behind a lot of people.
Chef Saeed, bro.
Yeah. Shredding pyramid, brother. Low fat ketchup.
Dude, bro, you can't eat regular potatoes.
Did you know eggs have 4 grams of carbs?
I heard it was 5 grams of carbs. I think your facts are wrong.
Well, that's probably why I'm not very shredded. A lot of people are gravitating more towards strength, which is really awesome to see. And things change over time, so do trends, but a lot of people doing more powerlifting type deals with a focus on deadlifts a lot, squats, and I think getting back to what we talked about with accountability for your lifts, people are trying to get more technical and trying to improve. But not just that, but I think a trend is for a lot more people to come out of the woodwork as far as making videos and channels. So not only because there's benefits of making a channel, whether it be monetary, whether it be products, as I started to get into or whatever, but people just feel more comfortable being on camera and sharing information. So like one of our good mutual friends, good old Candido Burrito, I mean, where was he 2 years ago? Wasn't making videos, but coming out of the woodwork. Some of these smaller channels that don't necessarily have a large following, there's a lot of people putting out a lot of good information and only continuing to do so. I think a part of it is just them getting comfortable on camera because sitting in front of a camera in a room by yourself isn't exactly the most normal thing out there.
You're saying, so where do you see now the future where we're talking about? I would say accountability is huge. You need to have evidence. Strength is certainly trending. Flexible dieting. What else?
So in my opinion, and this is just me speaking based off of what I would watch and continue to watch, is I look for people who teach me something or progress or are motivational in a way because you could see someone or you yourself, you're really strong. You're what, 180 pounds, squat?
You're very strong.
Five.
Give me that compliment. I'm going to give it back to you.
You squat 555. You just haven't put it on film yet.
No, yeah.
You pull a lot. You bench a lot. But no matter how strong you are, how someone else is you watch, there's always somebody stronger, always somebody better. So it's not just about being strong necessarily, because I can watch someone squat 1,000 pounds. Great. What do I learn out of it? If I don't get some kind of tip or trick or how to improve myself or it's not entertaining, I'm not going to watch. And that's what's tough because a lot of these big name powerlifters or strength competitors, they know a lot, but they just don't do a good job translating that. So for YouTube, they might just put up videos of them lifting, which is great. It's cool to see an impressive lift. Yeah. But even if I would feature them on my channel, they don't end up getting a lot of subscribers out of it unless they can relay that kind of information, relay that education back. And that's why I really appreciate what you do with Couch Hamilton.
Oh no, he's throwing another compliment. Yeah, man.
Not only is he really strong though, but he teaches people things how he does it, why he does what he does, and I get a lot out of those videos as opposed to just watching someone lift a lot of weight.
Sure.
Because some people are just genetically gifted. I know it's surprising to hear. There's people that are genetically gifted.
Yeah.
But just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're good at teaching somebody that same thing. That's what I look for. Someone who's going to be educational. You don't have to necessarily be the most entertaining person, although you can be if you don't have the education part of it down.
Yes.
But I just look to get something out of each video I watch.
Provide some sort of value, I guess.
Even if it's just a tip, whether it be lifting, whether it be cooking, whether it be whatever, just something that I can take out of that video and be like, I learned something today.
Is there anything you're like, you know what, man? I wanna see more of this.
So
I want to see more. There's not enough supplement reviews out there.
So this is a double-edged sword for me. So
go for it.
I want to see more fails out there.
Okay.
Number one, because I think it's important that people know that even people that make videos, it's not all peaches and cream all the time. There's a lot of fail. Like there's a lot of struggle. Like I deal with a lot of old man problems. My body breaks down. I'm not feeling very strong. I'm skinny, I have no calves, and the list goes on and on.
Hey, Brandon, I will never abandon you. Part Team No Calves for life.
Standing strong, my brother. I think a lot of people that watch videos, because they don't see that, they just assume these people are always progressing, always making gains. They don't see the hardships that it takes, the hard work that goes into it. So that's one. I want people to understand that it's like real. So that's why I appreciate, again, your recent squat video. Show a fail. Like if I have a fail, I think it's important to show so people know.
You show your fails. I respect that too.
And plus, because you can put fail in the title and a lot of people watch it. I'm just saying. And then secondly, I want to see more fails only because it makes me feel better about myself watching some of these people that I look up to fail. I'd be like,
Let's bring it back once again to the people that don't know Brandon. They should already be subscribed.
The peeps.
Wrap it up. Give me some, make him cross 100,000 so it could, when people ask, oh, yo, Brandon, that's cool, man. You have that YouTube channel on the side of making, 6 figures. How many subscribers do you have? You don't say like I have 91,624. You just say 100K.
Yeah.
Or you say like over 100K.
I'm like, well, speaking of big subscribers, you're at like what, 230, 240?
I pay every single one of them.
You are. I just occasionally I look at numbers and I think you're about to pass August Cake if you haven't already.
I'm so not trying to like sound like a douche, but I'm gonna say I have I think 12,000 more. Some of the 10,000. I think I passed Matt August.
Yeah, that's and it's really interesting to think of in context. Like when we started these channels, at least personally, I'm sure you're probably the same way.
Yeah.
Like when you first got that first subscriber, you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. When you got 10 subscribers, oh, double digits, wow. Yes. And now if you think about it in context, like especially like for me and especially for you and some of these bigger channels, like you could think of the biggest stadium holds maybe 100,000 people at most. And when you think of you putting out a video of you
failing a squat.
Well, no, I was gonna use someone else. I can't really say you because you don't really do posing in your underwear videos. But some of these people, not that I do either.
I'm gonna change that, Brandon.
At least not for free.
Yeah.
But you put out a video and it goes out to. It's like you would be standing in a football stadium and 100,000 people are watching. That's pretty awesome to think about it. Amazing at the same time.
Man, I'll just say this and then, bro, we'll wrap it up. Because people's like, oh man, this thing's going on near 40 minutes. Are you kidding? How am I supposed to? I can't sit on the toilet that long.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. I want you also to cite your lifts because you're strong as hell now. Just some advice, real talk to those either first starting out or just talking about lifting in general. If you can impart some wisdom.
Sure. So my lifts where I am right now, paused bench 340, which is a weak point being tall, lanky arms with no tuck, which people always tell me no tuck and no arch. Old man, can't do it. Squat 555. And deadlift 630.
Yeah.
Which is good for me because a year ago my totals were probably about 200 pounds less altogether. So I've made a lot of good progress. I think a lot of that will relate back to the advice, and that is don't neglect the big compounds. Don't think you have to go in and do a bunch of crazy stuff. Focus on those big lifts if that's what you're trying to get better at. And if you want to get better at those lifts, you can do variations on stuff. Maybe be close grip bench, maybe be deficit work, maybe be pause squats. But don't spin your wheels too much because I spent probably a decade doing just bodybuilding style training, curls and tries and all these fancy ass movements. And I made progress, I won't lie, but not as much as when I started just focusing on the compound. So if you know what you want to do, do it. I would say a lot of people at a young age are way too worried about getting a six pack. I still talk to a lot of people. Hey, I'm 15, I started lifting and I'm 15% body fat, but I want a six pack, but I also want to get strong.
Well, my mom won't buy me food.
Yeah, set a goal and make up your mind and just stick to it and be patient and consistent.
Brandon,
Don't
where
do
can
drugs.
people check you out?
So I am on YouTube at Campbell Fitness TV. So check me out there. You can
Links in
follow
the
me on.
description. It's popping up right here. Go. Let's just say get him to 100K. So once again, he could say when people ask, "Hey, yo, Brandon, how many subscribers you got?"
Yeah, 100K. 100K.
But what type of content can they find on your channel?
So I lift, even though it doesn't look like it. I do. I do recently more vlog type videos. So I'll show you some lifting. I'll show you some meals. I'll show you part of my life. I work full time, work 50 hours a week in an office setting. So if you guys have trouble doing that too and want to find a balance, I think I find a good way to do that. I try to highlight a lot of other great YouTubers on my channel, maybe some that you've heard of, some that you haven't. But I just try to put out information like I alluded to already that is beneficial in some ways. So hopefully you get something out of it. Learn from my mistakes because I messed up a lot and I still do and I'm still learning. And I think that's important going forward just because you can only get better by learning from what you're doing wrong. So
big question then. When are we going to get some training going down? When are you going to come up to Toronto? Or
I would love to come to Toronto. I got my Blue Jays hat I can wear.
I remember, dude. So people, for those that don't, post below if you remember, when
T
we
dot.
first did a collab, 2012, you wore that Blue Jays hat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
One of the best hats in baseball.
Dude, we're in second place right now. I'm just saying.
Behind the Orioles, which I could wear my Orioles hat too. So.
Oh, don't. How you gonna cut me deep like that? And then finally, when you gonna do that Jason Genova collab?
Jason, well, he asked me to be his coach, but
yeah.
Apparently I don't have enough Skittles for him. He said
your upper body's not matching your lower body.
Yeah, but I can do.
Just oh, flex, little flex there. Oh.
No.
You know what we should do a pose session inside of a Starbucks bathroom and just see what happens.
I got to invest in some tighty whities first that aren't very tight and not very white by the point that he gets to them.